Today I'd just like to show you how to fit the propeller guards and the new higher landing skids. Now before I do, I'd just like to point out about the props. And you can swap your propellers over from the original to the later version that suits the V1s and V2s. As you can see, they're a lot longer and a lot wider. So that will also give you a bit more lifting power. These are the version 2 props that are larger, and I've got them off eBay like most people seem to do, and they ship all the way here. But when they did, I noticed that either from the packaging or from manufacturer or in transport, some actually curve up on the tip. This particular one curves up, and there is another one here that curves down. Now they are flexible and they may spin out horizontal when they're fired up, but they are distorted. So the way you repair them is you put your quad upside down and you then pack up the ones that are pointing down with some type of packing you may have around the house, and then you get your heat gun and you just slowly warm the blade so as it then starts to be slightly pliable. You don't overheat it, you don't use full heat, and you then just let the packer sit under there and let it cool. Do not apply too much heat, too much force. Preset the actual position you want it in first, then add your heat. Then for the ones that are pointing down, like this particular one here, you then place your packer underneath and a slight weight. Not a weight strong enough to bend it, but just enough to fit on it. Because as you warm it up, the weight will slowly push it down. Again, if you can put a packer that's the right height, when it heats up, it will then drop down. How can you check to see if you've gone too far or not? The front edge along here is reasonably straight. So if it's bending down or bending up, you know you've either gone too far or you've got a bit more to go. So that's the thing you need to check for before you actually go flying and when you fit the props. So after you've done fixing them up and checking them and you fitted them on and nipped them up, then you're ready to fit your guards. Now the reason why I'm going for a guard is, I'll drop this over here. It is very nose heavy still. Even with the batteries back as far as you can go, it is still very nose heavy. So when you go to take off, it's prone to tipping, and I don't want it to hit the props. So with the guards there, if it does tip over, the props are free. So just a slight takeoff error, you've then fixed it. So when the prop guards do arrive, they come in a nice plastic bag and a nice set. There are 2 dimples on the inner face, and you need to remove these 2 front screws. Now the kit comes with a set of screws that are longer, and what you have to keep in mind is that they're longer because they are sitting on that extra thickness of plastic. When you remove these screws, do not throw them away. Put them back in the plastic container and label them. Label them as the motor screws, because these screws come up to almost the bottom of the motor, on the inside of the motor. So if you use longer screws, it will actually hit the part of the motor that spins, and that doesn't work too well. So get your longer screws and put them aside, then put your thinner screws, shorter screws in the plastic bag and label it. I use this type of kit for the screws. Now you need two tips. One is 2.5mm, one is 2mm, because the hex head of the screws are different and the head types are different. So it's fairly easy to remove. Just get your smaller 2mm hex head screwdriver bit. Now these are magnetic, keep that in mind, because you must not bring it anywhere near the compass, otherwise your compass will be ruined and you'll have to purchase another one. So that's the difference in the screws. That's the difference in the height, difference in the heads, and again you'll notice that their original screws have got the blue Loctite. Find the two dimples, move it, you know it's in the right position, put one screw in, and again, like I said in other tutorials, back it off until you hear it to click, then you know it's dropped in the thread. Change over your bit, back it off, hear the click, screw it in. Get your other longer screw, back it off, hear the click, screw it in. Now before you tighten them up and do anything else, put your screws in the bag and seal it, because when they're sitting on the table you'll knock them off. Murphy's Law. Screw them down till they're just nipped, and then just add a slightly tighter nip. Now, because they recommend no Loctite, none's been fitted. If you are concerned, get yourself a bit of yellow paint and just put a dab of yellow paint on any screws that you happen to remove. And that is an indicator when they come loose. It's used a lot in the aircraft industry. When the painted nut or bolt moves, it then separates from the yellow paint on whatever the surface it is, and you can immediately see if your screws are coming loose. So you can have a look at it, and there it is. So that's the 4 fitted. There's also a thin string, nylon string. You feed it in through the hole, underneath the guard and around. You don't have it coming across because the prop may hit it. And then on the end you can either tie one end to one side of a guard and tie the other end to the other side of the guard. But you may then be tempted to cut the string. I've tied it on together on one edge of the guard, and then that way if it should break, I've still got enough material that I may be able to repair, and if you cut it you may not be able to tie the knot again. So that is the version 2 prop guards on a Phantom. Highly recommended. Thanks for watching.